So you want to learn how to mic a guitar cab. Yes! And not using fucking plugins. Hi, it's Kevin Antresian over at Backroom Studios. A lot of you have trouble when it comes to miking up guitar cabs. Hi, it's Kevin Antresian over at Backroom Studios. I know a lot of you guys have trouble when it comes to miking up guitar cabs and have a lot of questions. What gives? It's not so hard. Before we get started though, let's go over some real basic ground rules. Number 1, have the sound in your head before you start doing anything. So what do I mean by that? Don't just put this microphone in front of this cab with this amp and just hope for the best. You definitely want to know what you're getting into before you do anything. If you were a painter, you probably wouldn't just pick a random color and slap around on the canvas until you kind of got an idea for what you were doing. You really want to have some intent with this.
We don't know where they go. Wherever you want them. That's exactly where they should live.
Number 2, pick your gear with a purpose. What I mean by that is, are you gonna use this mic? Are you gonna use this mic? Or are you gonna use this fucking thing? This is where it pays off to know your gear really well. Each piece of the chain that you change is gonna alter your sound drastically. Blip, 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 blip. Number 3, and I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but try to stay away from modelers. While they are pretty awesome and convenient and you can get great sounds really quickly, it's not gonna do you any favors in the long run. With that said, let's go in the live room and check out a bunch of different cabs. Now let's get some fucking cabs. Holy shit, where did these come from? All right, so let's assume that you've got your guitar picked out and your amp picked out. The next thing to move on to is to select your cab. Now, I'm gonna assume that most of you don't have all of these cabs at your disposal, but let's be honest, it's pretty fucking awesome. But it's probably better to just know one cab really well than to kind of futz around with all these different ones. All of them sound wildly different from each other. That's why I have so many. And also keep in mind that each speaker in the cab itself will sound different from each other, slightly, based on the position and just the difference in the quality of the make. So let's pick, do I always start with so? I don't want to always start with so. I feel like I'm
Start with okay.
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 Okay. Okay, so no, because it's okay, so. Okay. So for this imaginary scenario, we're gonna go with the Mesa 412. This is the oversized one, has V30s all the way around, and it sounds awesome, especially for like rock or, you know, aggressive metal or something like that. You know, or non-aggressive metal, if that's a fucking thing, I don't know. Okay, so for the mics, we're gonna go with a really common selection. We're gonna use the SM57 for one, because everybody wants to hear this. The 421, this is also an awesome mic. The 121, the Royer, this is a ribbon mic. It's a little bit different sounding than the others, very dark, but it's really common and you can use it. And then also we're gonna try my favorite mystery mic, which I'll reveal later in the video. Now when you're just starting out, I would say stick with the single mic and try to find out where that sounds best. But when you wanna, you know, eventually get to the ultimate guitar tone, you're gonna wanna set up that kind of looks more like this. This has been scientifically tested and measured to get the best top, middle, and bottom response of the guitar. And then also what we did was we added in a room mic because we felt like we weren't dealing with enough phase problems here, so we wanted to add a little bit more. So we're back in the control room and we just set up the mic on the cab. We put it right on the center of the dust cap here, which is gonna be the brightest sound you can pretty much get. And then we're gonna show you with this handy Dynamount app that we're gonna go off the cap to the right or left. And the further away you get from that dust cap, the darker it's gonna get. You know, obviously the extremes are gonna be really dark, just like the extreme center is gonna be super bright. You may not even end up using either of those. Somewhere in the, you know, you're gonna find your spot in the middle. But this is a fast way to kind of demo to you guys how, you know, where the sweet spot is, and how to find that. So I'm gonna play a track It's called Moon by band John the Gun. We just did this record recently, and it's a rad song. And so we have 3 rhythm tracks in this song right now, but I'm just gonna use one rhythm to show you the tone we're trying to get here. And this is with the Friedman BE50 Deluxe, as you can see over yonder, is that guy. And we'll go over that stuff later. But for right now, let's just hit record and see what we got. Like I said, this is the brightest sound I'm gonna get. A little too bright, too much fizz in the top, right? So let's just kind of go off, maybe by 10, 20, I can't count. That's actually pretty nice. A lot more mid-focus. Let's go to an extreme, just see how that goes. That's pretty bad, for this anyway. So let's see, let's kind of go a little bit further. Oh, finger. Go back to 65. A little bit better, maybe a little bit too bright, but we'll keep it there for the moment. Now we can do, you know, the front to back access. So right now we're pretty much touching, as you can see in the other screen, touching the grill cloth, and that's personally where I usually start. But you can also back up if you want. If you want more room sound, less proximity effect, back it off a bit. So it kind of like hollows it out a little bit more, you know. Thinner. That could be cool for some stuff, especially like rock and roll stuff. But for like more aggressive tones, you want that proximity effect. That you can really hear that low end really kick in. And then the last we could do is we can go on or off axis. Right now we're 90 degrees straight on axis. If we want to tilt it a little bit, we can dial that in. So we can kind of aim it at cap, and that's going to get brighter. Because we're off to the side, now we're angling in. Now you can even go further out and then angle it harder. So you gotta kind of figure out where you like it. And it's all gonna depend on the track and what you wanna go for. That sounds pretty good. Cool. So now that we've gone over how to mic a cab in the most basic way with a single microphone, let's check out those classic microphones and hear what they sound like. All right, so let's compare those results. Let's start with the classic 57. This pretty much sounded like the best one out of the lot, due to the fact that we had to keep it a little further away from the dust cap, because otherwise this would have just sounded really bad. Nothing really to explain about this guy, but it's a no frills microphone. It's awesome. You can kind of just throw it around. We have the 121, which was the darkest by a lot. I'm not gonna throw this one. This, a lot of low end, almost way too much in that position. This is a mic that you really wanna probably put right on the dust cap or somewhere therein. Don't put phantom power on it or you're gonna break it. Interns love to do that here, so please don't do that. It's kind of expensive. Wow. It's also bi-directional, so keep that in mind. There's no polar pattern selection on here, so whatever you're gonna put in the front, you're gonna hear also in the back. We have like we said, the 421, which is taped up because these clips suck, especially when, like I said, when you have a lot of interns in here. So that doesn't come off anymore. And also we had it in one tick. So it can go all the way from S, which is for speech, which is the highest roll off, all the way to M, which is for music. Really cool. So this is just a roll off. So we keep one click up for guitar, get rid of some of that low end. And yeah, these things are great. A little aggressive in the top end sometimes, so you gotta kind of move it a little further away. And then the mystery mic. What's the mystery mic? Well, it's a favorite of mine. It's the Neumann KM184.
Wow.
These things are great on a ton of stuff, but my favorite is guitar. They're a little tricky with guitar sometimes because there's no pad on it and they're super sensitive. So I like to run an inline pad from Hosa and really like knock off like 30 dB on that. That way I can drive my mic pre all the way up. Yeah, it sounds really even. That position that I showed you was a little bit darker than usual, but nonetheless sounds great. It has the best bottom, the best top, and a little bit of dip in the mids, it feels like, compared to some of the others. But another great alternative to the 57. The final part of the process I want to go over with you guys is dialing in your guitar tone a little bit further with some outboard EQ. Let's check out our reference. What? That's not right. But it is awesome. So now I'd like to talk about my final step for guitar tracking. I don't typically record with a lot of compression, so we don't really need to go over that, but I do always record with some EQ involved. And what I really like are the API 550As. The Bs are great, and there's also obviously tons of other options you can use. And you can use plugins too. Waves makes this, and Slight makes an emulation as well. So I'm gonna play the track, and you can hear how loud it is in the room. I mean, that thing's pretty cranked. So let's bring it in here. So what you can see is, let me start that again real quick. What you can see is that I'm gonna just do some slight movements. I have it set at the top at 7K. One dip up, 2 dB. And then I have another notch at 1.5, give it 2. And in this case, I was dropping out a little bit of 400. Just 2, one notch over. And then I have the filters in, and here without it. It's a lot more mid-focus now, which is where you want it for this kind of stuff. There you go. EQ 101. So that's gonna wrap it up for our intro video on how to get a guitar tone. Hope it was informative for you guys. We want to do more parts of this, like maybe a part 2 with multi-miking and a part 3 with like maybe more mixing stuff or some tricks. We know you guys keep asking to put out more content, but we're really strapped with time and we're doing the best we can here. This is a full-time facility, so we're just cramming in whenever we can find a minute. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. If you guys are still using that Line 6 Spider 2, upgrade to the 3 and hit that subscribe button.